Good evening, everyone. This is the Auburn School Building Committee meeting for Tuesday, August 27th, 7 p.m. This meeting is being recorded. Ask if anybody else is recording. None? Okay. I'd like to open it with the Pledge of Allegiance. You all rise?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Any? There are none. Next item is the meeting minutes from the last meeting, July 30th, 2013. Meeting minutes were in the packets and attached here tonight. Have a motion to approve by somebody?
I make a motion we approve them as presented.
Okay, second. Okay, any comments on concerns on them? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's a vote. Now into the, Eric just came running in. Into your agenda item for the design development progress update.
I do have a short report.
Okay.
We have been busy with design development of drawings and specifications. As the name implies, this is just a phase where we're starting to get into more detail on the drawings. We're starting to work out some of the schematic details and select products and in more detail. We're meeting with our consulting engineers on a regular basis. We have made a couple of minor modifications to the design. One of them involves moving the firewall, which was previously around the gym. We've located that actually more centrally located between the administration area and the classrooms. One of the things that this does is it allows us to open up into the gym more from the lobby, which will be a nicer feature. With the firewall there, we were forced to have. We were restricted with the openings we could have. We couldn't have a lot of glass and opening into there, which we'd like to have. The other thing we've done is some roof height modifications at the band room area, and this simplifies the framing. We still get a good, relatively high volume in the band room, but it'll simplify the number of depressions we have in the on the roof in that area, and it'll basically lower the cost, simplifies framing, and eliminate some isolated areas. We did test pits on August 14th. 7 test pits were excavated. Thank you to Ken Fairbanks and the Auburn DPW for their equipment and operator. The results were good. Better than expected. The soils were generally very sandy, well suited for infiltration. We only hit rock in 2 test pits, and those were the ones that were closest to the cul-de-sac, just north of the Masonic Circle cul-de-sac. They hit ledge at about 8 to 9 feet, and that was deeper than expected based on the visible rock outcroppings in that area. So that was a good positive outlook. And one of the reasons we did these was to assess the soil for infiltration for the drainage, surface drainage systems. We looked for groundwater. We saw evidence of groundwater only in those first 2 test pits where we found the ledge, and it was assumed that the groundwater was perched on top of the ledge. It's a seasonally perched condition where the water can't go through the rock and it just sits on top of it. So that was another positive thing. We have filed the abbreviated notice of intent with the Conservation Commission. We're on their agenda for tomorrow night. Everybody's welcome to attend. It should be an exciting time. It's really, again, just to confirm the location of the wetland boundaries. And we had the wetland biologist did go back out there. We will attend. Andrea Kendall from Mason Associates will attend that, as well as Matt Broussard, our site civil engineer. And we'll give the Conservation Commission a brief summary of the project, but we won't be really going into any detail on things until we get to the notice of intent, which will follow later later in the fall. Just a couple of things I want to bring up, and they may seem kind of premature to be talking about this now, but they are important. One of them is room numbering. This is an issue that comes up repeatedly. We're at the point now where we need to identify every space in the building for a number of reasons. One's for room finishes, one is for signage, and the other is there's a number of systems, energy management systems with the HVAC system, fire alarm systems, other electronic systems that will be eventually programmed with room numbers. The reason I bring this up now is we only want to have eventually one room number scheme. The Safety Advisory Committee has expressed interest in reviewing that. So we'll be submitting our scheme. We've gone through and numbered things the way we feel it is appropriate. It may not be exactly what the district wants. It may not be exactly what the Safety Advisory Committee wants, but we'll go through this review process. Sometimes the district wants, the school people want to have odd numbers on one side of the corridor, even on the others. We try and work with everybody to make a scheme that's acceptable to everybody, but there will be a process for that. So we'll be sending out some drawings there. The other issue I bring up tonight is proprietary specification items. Proprietary items are things that Mass General Law, first of all, requires you to specify at least 3 manufacturers so that you get competition in the bidding. It's open to everybody. You're not limiting it to one vendor or a product, which drives the price up. So the purpose is so that you get the best possible price. Sometimes there's instances where proprietary or specifications naming one product makes sense, and in this case, because you have energy management systems in a number of your common energy management system in a number of your buildings, the request was made to use that particular vendor in this building as well. So you'll have that consistency. You're familiar with it. You have people trained on that, and it would make sense. There are some requirements for that, and one of them is to document the reasons for that. And we would also ask that you, as a committee, vote to endorse that proprietary specification. And I'm not, Paul, if there are other requirements.
Contact the AIG's office, and we're in the process of making sure we follow all the regulations. It may have to go to the Board of Selectmen to make a final vote on it.
But there, as far as we know, there is just that one item, the energy management system. Is that
correct?
I know you brought that up pretty early in the process, Joe, but we're at the point now where it has passed the voters, where we should begin that process of.
If I may, the energy management system that actually that we installed at the high school when the high school was built, was called Automated Logic. And what we did was we branched off of the high school Automated Logic into each of our other buildings using the same software. So it only makes sense really to follow the same suit, just in middle school. Automated Logic is a user-friendly software. We've had them for the last 8 years. Works out really well. would like to see it continue with automated logic, if that's possible.
We'll, between Paul and I, we'll verify the other requirements in addition to a vote, but we'll come back before you. You don't need to vote tonight, but we'll come back with the appropriate language, possibly at the next meeting. Just a quick look ahead. We will continue through September to have some meetings with the district and town as we develop the drawings and specifications. Sometime this fall, we'll also be looking to do some additional site survey to one of the things that needs to be done is to identify on the survey the final property line between the Masonic Lodge and the parcel purchased by the town. That was more or less kind of in the schematic design, a line that we had developed, really kind of an estimated, approximated line. We'd like to get that shown exactly with the information from the deed and have that added to the site survey. We also want to locate do field location of the test pits, so that can be shown on the survey, and pick up some additional, more detailed site information along the north boundary where we're building right up to the boundary there. So we'll be coming back with a request for some additional site survey. On October 2nd, we intend to submit DD documents, design development documents, to the cost estimator. And shortly thereafter, the first week or second week of October, we'd like to make a presentation to this committee of the design development documents. We would have some interior 3D views. We'd come before you with probably some color board, not so much color boards, but material selection boards to show you the types of materials that we're proposing and finishes, that sort of thing, inside and out, and more developed floor plans and building views. Middle of October to the 22nd, we would be looking at the cost estimate reconciliation process, where we work with the OPM to compare our estimates and make sure we're still on target. And on October 23rd, we'll be making the design development submission to the MSBA. Immediately after that,
Excuse me, what date did you just say?
that was October 23rd
Thank
is the MSBA DD submission, and that date is in the schedule that has been distributed by the OPM. After that, last week of October, we will be making our application for site plan approval, and that's we've started that process. We've had discussions with Adam Burney, the town planner. We'll be going through not only the Conservation Commission notice of intent process, but we'll be looking at all of the town agencies, zoning, planning board will be involved with that process. That about does it. Any questions? Thank you.
What?
You said just overwhelming.
I mean, I think it's still developing along, as I guess we haven't seen updated drawings or anything at this point, but that's what the early October presentation will be, to see, how far it's come along and where we're starting to head to, more detailed. Any other questions, comments for the architect right now? All right. So I guess that's it down through all the architect's items. So next is the CM risk update from Skanska.
Last Wednesday, on August 21st, we did have a site tour out here. We had 6 companies who attended. RFQs are going to be due at 2 o'clock this Thursday, August the 29th. So far, we've had 10 companies who have submitted the interest forms, so we're anticipating getting RFQs from at least 10 companies this Thursday. At that point, I'll go through them, I'll evaluate them, I'll be setting up a meeting with the subcommittee, and for the middle of next week, at which point we'll review all of these RFQs, approve them, make sure that which ones have, I guess, met the minimum requirements or which ones haven't. The ones that have, I'll immediately follow up on September the 6th and distribute the request for pricing. So we're going down the road, we're moving forward.
What's the, September 6th it goes back out, when's the next dates are what?
Yep, September the 6th, the RFP goes out to all the qualified
Yep.
firms. On September the 28th, the RFPs will be back due to us, at which point the committee will go through them all, rank at least minimally of 3 companies, maybe 4, depending on how we feel about, going through that process, at which point we'll come back on October the 8th, and they will give interviews to this subcommittee, or to this school building committee, to make a selection for the contract, or the contractor you'd like to go with.
All right. So October's gonna be a little busy,
Very busy.
because we're gonna have October the 8th, and then sometime a week later, or whatever, we'll have a presentation from LPA.
Correct. And we'll need to make sure on October the 8th, we'll have to have a minimal, at least meet quorum. We'll probably have to set aside, depending on how many interviews we're going to have, 3-4 hours of meeting time.
Okay.
I'll bring coffee.
Any questions?
Did I hear it right? 10 people, 10 companies?
Well, the
Correct.
10 have expressed interest, is what he said.
Correct. That they have submitted information that they will be submitting an RFQ.
Is that pretty much normal, the 10, or is that?
State requires you have to have a minimum of 3. I've seen it range anywhere from 5 to 15, 16.
It's about average.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of invoices. I have some in the pack. There is a summary sheet that has been done summarizing the entire budget, and then the invoices are behind that.
Make a motion to pay the invoice for Skanska, invoice number 1311838-PDS 11865-17 for the sum of $18,065.
Second that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just had one question. Now that we're out of the feasibility stage where we had money set aside for that, has there been any borrowing done for these invoices that are coming up now?
That we'd have to go, I'd have to refer that back to Mr. Kasanovich from this.
I'm just curious where the money's coming from that we're paying these invoices.
I mean, I know that yeah, I'm not sure how they handle that right at the moment. I mean, at some point, that was a town meeting vote, was to approve to be able to go out for bond issues on the full amount, which they'll go out in steps as they need it, but, and then they, we do start seeing reimbursement right away, but, so I would assume that there's got to be going up, but we can ask that and report back at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, if there's some way we could get some type of report to find out where the
Okay.
money's coming from.
Any other questions about Scansis invoice right now? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? It's a vote.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay invoice number 1207-1307, dated 8/15/2013, due date rather. Invoice dated 7/31, Lamro and Pagano, in this amount of $112,500.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just like to know how this is working. This is 25% of the total. There's nothing backing it up at all, except are we going to be paying 25% monthly? Or how's this working?
Maybe we can ask Eric.
Yeah, Eric or Paul, but I mean, it is a fee structure that's set up on,
Design development.
right, for their specific phase. So right now, we're in a design, you take whatever your projected time period is for that and divide it out. I mean, construction administration side will be, 15 months or 16
Okay, I'm
months
just
versus.
asking a simple question. It's $112,500.
I mean, it was
No
implying
backup
that's
to
for-
it all, and that's 25% of the total, and
Right.
it just says, design, whatever, through completion.
Eric?
That's 25, is that 25% of the?
Design development.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm
we're
saying.
actually beyond 25% of the design development at this point.
Okay.
I
My question, pure and simple, was, this came, here we got a $112,000 bill with nothing at all.
We set up we did earlier in this process, we set up a cash flow based on our fee, which we're following that target. And as long as the schedule stays, as long as we stay on schedule, we will follow that cash flow more or less, which.
But I mean, that's really what DD is, though. It's July, August, September, October, and they're submitting late October for design development. So
And we have a question now from Mr. Bonifigio, is where is this money sitting that we're going to be paying $112,500? So, okay. I just wanted a little bit of backup to the number. I realized the number's there and
Back
it's
of the sheet.
broken down, but
Wasn't there a schedule
He's asking for
way back when? Design development, such and such.
well, I mean, there's the schedule. It's yep.
And then typically, like he says in the beginning, he's spending more time than he's actually billing for, but because it's spread out for a month period, 25. It's easier bookkeeping that way, I suppose.
us dishwashers don't get involved with that bill.
Casanova would probably answer Jim's question.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to go to the town, to the treasurer to ask about
Yeah, I
the
don't
funding,
think-
but it was,
Yeah, I don't think that sits with this committee.
no. No, it's in his responsibility, but
Answer is required.
we pass it up to him, yep.
Don't pay the bill.
Am I gonna see this a second time?
Yes, you are.
We just spend it.
We're approving this for payment, but it goes over the town treasurer or
Right,
finance officer or whatever, as far as making the payments.
yeah. And then immediately we'd get submitted through ProPay so that we get into the state system, so we start our reimbursements as quickly as possible too. Just like we did through the feasibility study in the first phase.
Did you get a date on this?
No, not yet. Any other questions, concerns on Lamrose invoice? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That's a vote. like I said, there is a summary on top that summarizes the entire 44,500,000 and change, what's been paid to date, the first few lines of the feasibility, and then it starts, that's all closed and done, and we're starting down on the next stuff, so. Next agenda item is just another item, if anybody has got anything else they'd like to bring up, questions, concerns, otherwise, that they want to right now. Then the next is for projecting meetings coming up here. Do we need one in September and then another one in October 8th? And then when's the one after that, Eric?
I think for us, our next, you know, for the committee, unless there's votes in between, I think that early October meeting.
Well, the October 8th is only going to be, I mean, it's going to be a full out just with the interviews and stuff. I mean, there's not going to be time to do anything else.
Do we want to try and do a late September meeting?
We'll probably have invoices and everything at that point.
Yeah.
It'll be a quick one, but
Okay.
at least we'll have something set in case something does come up. Maybe the 24th.
I think we could report on the status of some of these things with the Conservation Commission and some of the other meetings that
Okay.
we've got scheduled coming up.
So then we'll set it for the 24th then, for the next meeting. 7 o'clock here. And then we have 10/8 is the tentative right now for the interviews, which is probably going to start, well, we're going to have to wait and see what,
How many we're
how
gonna
many
do.
are going to, right. So probably could be I don't want to start it too early. Most likely to be 6, but start so we can go later. I don't want to start at 5 because then it might be too much. What?
We have a master plan team meeting that same night that we put at 6 o'clock.
Ah,
So, we can certainly check.
I'll have to push them out of the way. No.
Good check.
Okay.
It could be changed to 5.
Right.
So we'll just,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have it penciled in at the moment. We'll get back on times when we have it firmed up. And then, when do you think you're going to be ready, Eric, for a presentation? Well, the 29th is 3 weeks after the 8th, so do you want it the next week on the 15th or the 22nd, 1 week before you need to do the submission to?
I was thinking either October 8th or the 15th. Well, we can't do October 8th is your interview. so
Right.
Probably the 15th would be best.
Okay. Is that going to be feasible with everybody? Because we're going to have to get some meetings back to back and stuff, but with quorums and everything, but hopefully. Okay. So tentatively, right now, we'll have one on the 15th. That'll be the presentation of design development and material boards and more detailed of plans and everything else. Are you going to have some stuff out before that for review? Possibly some electronic stuff? Plans or whatever prior to that meeting?
Yes. We'll have that.
Okay. All right. That takes care of those things. So I think, other than that, we're all set for the evening, except for an adjournment.
I'll
Make
make
a
a
motion.
motion, we adjourn.
We adjourn. Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.